Welcome back to another episode of Dudes versus Everything, the podcast where we're talking about aliens, buttholes, space stuff, weird theories, murders, current events, and a lot of weird stuff, and just some things that you may or may not have heard.
And murder.
And murder. Today's episode is really something maybe spooky to some. But as always, we are your hosts. I am Jesus Perez, and this is my co-host,
Rudy Robles.
Yes. Bring it on.
All right. Have you ever heard of the Stanley Hotel before we even go into this?
Honestly, like, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Just, I have. I do a little bit.
You do?
I do. I has.
You. Okay, so for some quick cliff notes on the Stanley Hotel. The Stanley Hotel was built in 1909. I believe it started construction in 1906 or 1907.
And it was built in 3 years. That's crazy. For
Yeah.
how big it is?
For
Like,
how
if you
fucking
guys
huge
look
it
it
is,
up,
yeah.
just to take that number into consideration. I'm sorry, but that's just big. And I mean, I don't know, 3 years actually. Never mind. Maybe that's a little slow. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was built by Freeland Oscar Stanley, who is also the co-inventor of the Stanley steamer. Just a little extra.
Like the vacuum,
Yeah,
like the thing that we hear on the commercials. Dun, 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 it's called Stanley Steamer. And then there's the guy like rolls up in the commercial and like he rolls the carpet. Whoosh, like that one.
Yes.
You have no idea.
Well, I'm looking it up, and Stanley Steamer. I mean, it's a pretty big brand. I mean, it's not local here, but Stanley Steamer. Yes, it was made in Colorado, and their company, I guess, they just go and steam your carpets and clean them and stuff.
Huh.
Hmm.
Okay, so no, I just looked it up myself too. No, it is kind of. I feel like I don't know what's that one effect where you think of something current and then you look it up and it's not there anymore. Kind of like it's like misspelled, but it never has been, or there's no proof of that. The
Stupidity.
Mandela effect, right? Wait,
Oh yes, it is the Mandela effect.
what if that's what's going on right here? Because like I couldn't. I'm pretty sure that there was a commercial just like that where the guy rolls up. It's a white guy and like he's like cleaning your carpet, and I don't know. Maybe it's called something else, but
I mean, if you're talking about the commercial where it's like call 1-800
yeah.
300 Empire.
Yeah, okay, never mind. No,
Well, those guys weren't steamers. They were something else.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Completely different commercial. Okay, never mind.
But anyways, bringing it back to the serious side. It was built. The Stanley Hotel is a historic hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. As I said before, it was built in 1909 by an Oscar Stanley, who, as I discussed before, was also the co-inventor of Stanley Steamer Automobile.
Automobiles.
Stanley Steamer Automobile.
Missed that part last time. Okay.
Yeah,
this
so
this
it's
guy's fucking in automobiles. I thought he was like in the
no. So they're like
steaming vacuums and shit. No, this guy's just rich.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he was in Colorado and it's like peak time.
Yeah. Go
on. Well, as some of you may or may not know, the Stanley Hotel, it has pretty big significance considering the fact that it literally was the inspiration for Stephen King's The Shining, which is probably the most famous aspect of the Stanley Hotel is its connection to the horror novel, which is The Shining.
Yeah, and every time you do look, like if you do look it up, it's most likely gonna be the Shining Hotel, or like it's gonna be about the movie.
Yeah.
And like if you really want to like get information about like the real life Stanley Hotel, you got to be specific in your searches, because like the Shining and the inspiration of all this that's what people think of when they think of the Stanley Hotel. Like, they don't actually think of it as like
A
its
hotel.
own independent thing. Like, yeah, they don't think of it like, no, like this is a fucking originally a hotel that, I mean, there's just a lot of haunted shit just has happened. And Stephen King, you know, the king himself of horror, some say, as wrote this movie, or not, he didn't write this movie, he wrote the book, and then it got bought, and then they made the movie, and you know how that goes, there's always, you know, changes and translations, blah blah blah, but it was like almost
English?
yeah because like no, I mean not like from English, but like
You're talking this one on a biblical sense. Like, I mean, this only happened really like 100 years ago.
I mean, no, I didn't mean it like it was translated like differently like that way. No, I mean like I've read somewhere that there were certain details of the movie that when he, you know, they completely ignored from him. I just remember that part as much. And I'm not saying that they took this book and then they reimagined it like 60 different ways and then created a cult out of it, and now there's people inside of a building drinking demigod blood and then all worshiping the same thing. You know, that's not, you know, it's not exactly like that, but
Okay. Well, anyways, so the Stanley Hotel, the first time that I ever heard about the Stanley Hotel was actually from what I'm about to talk about now, is that all the paranormal investigations. And I mean, if you guys have ever even heard of like what a paranormal investigation is, it's basically just a bunch of grown men going inside with a lot of little like boxes that just go bloop.
Yeah, and you know what I've really thought about? I haven't really thought about until now, and I don't know if any of you listening have ever really thought about it, or you yourself, Rudy, have actually thought about it. But who the fuck officiates, if that's even a word, makes this official, like the investigation? Like, there's no like ghost government, you know, that's like, yes, we are gonna investigate, unless there is a ghost government. But I mean, as a ghost, like spooky ghost, not as in like a hidden government. That's also a possibility, but no. Like, who is it? Just like, oh, hey, I have a company and we do this all the time, and now we're gonna like search, and now it's gonna be official because it's on record.
I mean, okay, I wouldn't take the investigation part of that phrase.
Nah, you're putting these ghosts. Nah. Because these ghosts are stressing.
I mean, a paranormal investigation, what it really is as I said
if you
before.
Were a ghost, would you want to be investigated?
Honestly, yeah, it would feel pretty nice, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, imagine you're just chilling for hundreds of years, like on a rock or something. Cool. You died, and then some dude who like a bunch of people like pass by you every day, and no one can actually hear you and stuff. But some dude just comes up and is like, "I know you're here." You're like, "What the fuck?"
And you're like, oh shit, and then you're just like communicating and you're ghostly. But there's also like theories, like if you're able to maintain your speech, because not that like I'm following certain things or whatever, but like I have heard that you start to lose like your ability to speak. Like, let's say you do become a ghost, but like as the years progress, like you lose your ability to communicate with people. And so that's why you only go or you know, make noises, but I digress. Sorry.
I mean, I like to think of it like, me personally, I don't really believe in an afterlife, but I think my favorite like way of seeing it is probably like, if I was, I'd probably go with the like Latin way or like Hispanic way, where
I would go with the Latinx way.
We're not saying that. But yeah, you know how you pass on, and from then on your family has like ofrendas and stuff, and like in basically,
for people that don't know what that is, for the non-Mexican Spanish speakers,
the non-Latinx speaker.
Well, can you explain to us that what is an ofrenda?
An ofrenda?
In your own words, homie.
In my own words, I see it as basically like as a remembrance.
Yeah.
I guess. Like to remember someone in a good way. Like, yes, they're passed on, but that's not really something to be sad about. It's something to be happy about, to like enjoy their life as they were, and then you offer them food and drinks and beer.
Kind of like a having like a candle sigil or like right, like if you were to.
I see it as like
kind of the same thing. But
party with the dead.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. It's different. But
Yeah.
like, if you were to take something similar, I mean, I guess somebody can take the sigil and then be like, oh, let's go to the after death party, you know, and then just celebrate the dead and, you know, possibly end up doing unspeakable things, you know, because that's just what you do with certain emotions get involved in the.
You okay?
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. You know what? Let's do before we continue this. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, wow, we haven't done those in a while. Well, tonight
is it significant just because we are?
Tonight
just a little bit though.
Having Modelo Especial. Please sponsor us. And
how many?
At this point, I think I'm on like 3.
Okay.
I think. So not bad, not bad.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I'm having, well, I'm not gonna say it, but it's well, no, yeah, I'm having just fucking whiskey. I put in a couple shots in this fucking cherry Coke bottle, but on top of that, I've had a couple bowls of Le Crown James. That's a new strain.
I still don't believe that's a real thing.
So all you got to do to come up with a new strain is be, you know, someone that grows, you know, different strains, and then, you know, that's all you got to do. Like, if you come up with it and it hasn't been a thing, like, you name it, you know, then that's what this company pretty much does, or what growers do, and then it comes their way, and then they sell it to you, and then but yeah, no, this one is Le Crown James, and it's a cross between Black Mamba and Tropicana, and so it's a really good hybrid. Honestly, like it's a really amazing hybrid, and I recommend it. By Cream of the Crop here in SoCal. I don't know that we're not sponsored, you know, I just drive for them. But no, that's for real. No, check it out if you're able to. Check it out. I recommend it.
Yeah, what's your creator code?
No, that's it. I'm not sponsored by my work.
JPZ.
No, I actually never even wear any Kushagram clothing. Like, I've never even gotten any like Kushagram clothing or Super Clinic clothing. I always only wear like my Pacific Diamonds clothing, which is, by the way, this episode is brought to you by Pacific Diamonds, where you can elevate your streetwear. So you can definitely check it out. So no, yeah, I always be wearing that. Mostly just because like the shirt I'm wearing right now.
I'm wearing Ross. It's pretty good.
Looks comfy.
It's pretty comfy, actually. It's like a shirt sweater thing. But anyways, I feel like we went off on a tangent.
Yeah, I mean, your hair looks kind of shiny.
Yeah, it's all that hair product that I put in it.
What hair product do you use, by the way, since your hair is growing? Sorry, we've gone on a very side tangent, but what hair products do you mainly use?
So after the shower, I think during the shower is like the most important products that I use, but after the shower, I use this leave-in conditioner.
Leave-in conditioner.
Yeah, I didn't know what leave-in conditioner was. No. It's supposed to stay in your hair, like. So basically, just get some put on your hands, and then you just leave it in, and then depending on what it's supposed to do, it'll either add more volume or more shine.
And your hair just fucking knows what it's supposed to do. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I have this in my hair, so I'm gonna get fucking curly now, or I'm gonna get straight. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then during the shower, I think is the most important part is I use like voluminous enhancing like shampoo and
makes
conditioner.
your hair like just big.
Yeah. And
As it isn't already.
Yeah, and one of them is also like anti-frizz, which I had a lot of, so that also helps out, just keeping it like laying low. It's pretty good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought about growing my hair, but I just don't see myself.
I could see you
and
with like some curly ass like perm or something. Honestly, like a Mexican Ice Spice,
art? Like our new cover art.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That it's gonna take a long while. Like, I don't know. I had to really just say fuck it, and I don't know.
Just say fuck it, dude. Just do it. I mean, if you hate it, it's just hair. Just cut it.
Yeah, but I love my hair. You know, I feel like if I mistreat it, karma's gonna come my way and be like, "Oh,
bitch!" Like once you start growing your hair, you start treating it more and more fucking special. I remember when I had short hair, I put like 7-in-1 motor oil / shampoo inside my fucking hair.
All right, then we are back to our story of the Stanley Hotel. Sorry about that. Sorry.
So anyways, there's a lot of stories on the Stanley Hotel, but actually going back from when we really went off on a tangent, the first time that I heard about the Stanley Hotel was during a show called Ghost Hunters. Yeah, Ghost Hunters. So I think I was like maybe 7 years old, 8 years old.
Oh shit.
And there was a show called Ghost Hunters. And Ghost Hunters was like my first introduction to like the paranormal and like me loving it to this day.
Oh, not an actual like event. You're just
like a ghost event? No. I feel like you'd be traumatized from that.
I mean, some people. I mean, if some people are traumatized in certain ways, and you know, they're all. Excuse me.
They'll be like,
everybody's traumatized in different ways. Yeah, you know, some people are like, "Oh shit, a ghost! I'm gonna capture all of them." I don't know. Gotta capture them all. Type.
How
of
the fuck you catch them all? What the fuck?
They're ghost hunters. I don't know. Didn't they capture them in fucking vacuums?
They don't literally like.
I know they didn't, but didn't their cartoons like?
No,
they had vacuums, right?
You're thinking of Ghostbusters. This is Ghost Hunters.
Okay, never mind.
So Ghost Hunters was like an old ass show. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and they would just go into different locations, and they would just start fucking recording, and they would use like things called like EMF detectors, which is electromagnetic field detectors or something. I never understood it as a kid. I never got it. I didn't know what the fuck that actually did. Even to this day, I still don't know what exactly an EMF detector does.
I think it's like it detects like electromagnetic disturbances in the field, kind of like some fucking Star Wars Jedi. Like they just
there's a disturbance in the Force.
Yeah, that's what these electromagnetic, because you know every electronic device emits some sort of radiation. Also, like they have some, if there's a lot of magnets, they have some sort of magnetic, whatever the fuck, you know, they have some electromagnetic. I lost myself there.
You telling me ghosts got phones? Is that what you're telling me?
Ghosts got phones
in the afterlife?
I don't know, no, because you know, remember, you know, like if they lose their ability to talk, how are they calling people?
With their fucking voice? I don't know. You sound like your dog, bro.
Like, I don't know. You rarely. I mean, you do hear a lot of stories where like you hear ghosts saying things, but you also hear a lot of like stories where you don't ever. I don't know. A lot of interpretations, I feel like, are the.
So, anyways, Fucking. So I watched this show called Ghost Hunters. They eventually made a spin-off called Ghost Hunters International, which was really shitty. But yeah, I mean,
is that because you're racist? Ghost Hunters International. Fuck.
some racist dude out there just heard his favorite show, just went international. It's like, God damn it!
Why are they trying to catch ghosts in Mexico? God damn it!
Down to these damn Mexican ghosts, you know.
They're taking all our entertainment. They're here in the life and they're here in the afterlife. God damn it! I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, that was basically my first introduction to the paranormal. It was that show. It was actually a pretty good show. I liked it. I liked the whole like going into the darkness and just no lights whatsoever and only seeing with your cameras and trying to capture shit in the dark.
I'm gonna be real with you. I've always, not always, because I outgrew it like a long ass time ago. But as a kid, I myself was very much like, fuck the dark. I always thought like, I didn't hear until later on the saying like, oh, you're probably not afraid of the dark. You're afraid of like what's possibly in it.
Mm-hmm.
And like that made a lot of sense because to me, like I could obviously be, or you know, people, you could be in a dark room, you know, or in a dark area. You could go through dark stuff. You know, nothing's gonna happen, but you just don't know, because you can't see anything else. You're afraid of, you know, your imagination goes crazy, especially as a kid. You're thinking of like, I don't know, things out to get you. You feel like you're not supposed to be where you're at, especially if you're like in a very dark place. It feels off. It feels suspicious.
Yeah.
So your imagination is like, oh shit, monsters. Or all I've ever heard is like, oh, I shouldn't be doing these things at night. So there's going to be horrible things coming at me. So like, I don't know, your just imagination goes crazy. And for me, I always thought like the boogeyman was always like watching, or like some fucking version of like some demonic thing was like always hovering me. Dude, It was crazy. I feel like I just grew up in like a possible, like, so I heard stories in my building where I grew up where like under us, like it was a 4-apartment building, and under like the bottom 2 apartments, they had people that died. So like one, there was a supposed like witch, like, you know, like she would like, I don't know what she do. Like I just heard that as a kid, right? Like she was some sort of witch, right? And that she died in there. And then
wait, were these the apartments that I went to that one time?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I remember going to an apartment complex. We went in. It was like a little walkway, and then we had to like turn a certain direction. Then like there was like a little like grass area in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
There was only 4 apartments. Because the building itself, it used to be like some sort of like commercial building. Because in some of them, they had like microphones in the middle of the ceiling, or like those like circular, like with a bunch of like holes, so you knew they were microphones. But no one had access to like those speakers or microphones. Sorry, not microphones, speakers, in the ceiling. But and only like the bottom ones had it, not the top ones. You were like, I don't remember seeing those. No, but I always felt like I had a battle going back to that. I felt like I had a battle myself or my inner thoughts at night going to sleep, because I turned off all the lights, right? You go to sleep at night, but like I wasn't super religious, but my family was, and I always had this cross with me. And to like get these like negative thoughts to go away, I would just repeat like until I pretty much go to sleep. I would just be like either like whispering like under my breath or like in my head. I'd be like Jesus, 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 or like heaven, 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 like, you know, like ultra positive like things, because I felt like the fucking devil was like in my closet, you know, or some fucking or some fucking servant of that realm was out to like get me. I don't know. And for like this would happen, that's crazy. I don't remember if I told my therapist any of this, but like, yeah, and it just like it was weird. It was really weird. And I mean, eventually it stopped. Eventually, I felt like I didn't like need to do all that, but yeah, for me, I can. That's how I relate in that sort of way.
So for me, I feel like it was different. So I was afraid of the dark until I was probably like 9 years old. Because I like you said, like you're not really afraid of what's in the dark. You're not afraid of the dark. You're afraid of what's in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and it's so stupid how I had a revelation of how I stopped becoming afraid of the dark. It's so stupid and funny now that I think about it. But what happened was I saw a movie with my parents, and I think it was 28 Days Later or some zombie movie.
So there's like a trilogy, I feel like. There's like 28 days, 28 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think they did 28. I'm not sure if they did 28 months or some shit like that. But I know that there was a couple 28 days and 28 weeks for sure.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. Excuse me. Excuse you.
Excuse me. Anyways, so the way that I came about with the revelation of not fearing the dark was essentially watching this movie, but all the zombies were attacking in the day. And I was still afraid of the dark at the time. But watching that movie, I was thinking to myself, wait a minute. Bad things can also happen in the day too. So why am I afraid of just the dark in the night?
Oh, yeah.
So it literally clicked inside my 8 or 9 year old brain, and I think that's when I gained consciousness.
You're like, you're like, oh, things just clicked?
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah.
I was
or
thinking
when
to myself,
you feel like you just finally woke up.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, like, bad shit can also happen in the day and the daylight. So why am I just afraid of the dark? I have to be afraid of it all the time. So essentially...
And here grows a hypochondriac.
So essentially it canceled out my fear of the darkness. But
two fears cancel each other out. Okay,
exactly. Like
instead of, usually you hear people being just scared of everything, like you said, or like they really do be scared of the day and night, and then they're just staying home. But you were just like, there's no point in being scared.
Yeah. I thought about it, like, I mean, there really is no point in being scared because shit could just happen at any fucking time. It doesn't matter.
I dig it. Let's bring ourselves back to the final bits of what we pretty much thought. I know there were several actual accounts, several like recorded accounts of like stories at the Stanley Hotel. Like I know there was a housekeeper named Elizabeth Wilson, right? There was like a young girl that would run around. Her name was like Lucy. And then people would hear stories happening like as time progressed, you could actually stay in the rooms. And I know that like people would hear like their luggage being thrown away, not thrown away. Sorry, luggage would never be thrown away. Like they would go away, not away from the luggage, and then it would be unpacked or like moved. I've heard things like that. What have you heard?
So I've heard basically where people see like apparitions, or they'll like have photos of like apparitions and shit. And it's pretty trippy because I mean, while I do like watching like ghost hunting shows and everything like that, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts. Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe that ghosts are a thing. I believe that possibly, maybe some type of energy that we once had, because you know how like energy can't be, or matter can't be destroyed nor created.
Right.
I'm thinking of it
some
like
form of like negative energy like manifested and stayed there.
I can have a good time believing that versus believing like, oh, like there's some type of like embodiment of an apparition that's able to like.
That's actually very interesting. Actually, kind of fucking scary to really believe. And I think it makes sense when you think about like when you hear that there are houses themselves that are
Mm-hmm.
haunted, like not that there are haunted things in the house, but the houses themselves. Because if what you're saying is a possibility like to be true,
Mm-hmm.
uh, just a bunch of negative shit happening in a house, the house, I, in a way, collects negative energy, and then you just have a negative ass haunted house.
Yeah.
Kind of
And
like
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that thought process
it makes
is,
sense with asylums, because that's what
yeah,
everyone goes for. Everyone goes for the scary shit, the asylum. Oh, I'm gonna go visit, see what I feel, and you always hear people like accounts like, oh, I felt negative energy there, like I felt
yeah,
scary shit. Like people always go to events or places where scary shit has happened, kind of like the Stanley Hotel, not because they want to be haunted themselves,
mm-hmm.
but I guess, I mean, I don't know if I don't know anyone that wants to be haunted themselves or killed in that way, but they want to experience that energy, and
Yeah.
it's kind of fuckery. It's like what it's in a way like it's you get that experience, but why? Because now you've continued to keep this energy alive in this said place.
Well, I think that goes back to like our thrill seeking thing that we were talking about, where there's just some people that just want that type of feeling.
Some people
And
just want
maybe,
to see the world burn.
yeah, exactly. Like maybe they just want to feel that. I don't know. Like, sorry. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. Maybe people just feel like they need to feel some type of negative energy, and that's what pushes people to continue doing the same thing over and over when it comes to like visiting these areas.
Yeah, because I was gonna mention kind of like how Stephen King got inspired. Like he was trying to get inspired so that he can write more books, so that he went to this place.
Yeah.
I recently saw a movie again, so because I've seen it already, I just resaw it. It's called Sinister, and
Mm-hmm.
they've made a part two. I'm not sure if they made a part three, but the first one, I felt like it was the most evil. I guess the most sinister in a way.
Yeah.
Um, but the main guy, it's been out. I don't care if you haven't fucking seen it by
Yeah. If
now.
you haven't
Like
seen it at this point, like,
it's cool. But the main guy, he pretty much goes behind his wife's back,
mm-hmm.
and they're moving. So the premise is they move from one house to another, and he goes behind the wife's back he doesn't tell her that the previous owners of the house were all hung in the backyard
Mm-hmm.
on a tree, and he saw the listing. He was trying to get inspiration for a new book. He saw the listing, saw that it was super fucking cheap. Everyone knows why, and he took it. I didn't tell the wife, but he tried to use that and being there and try to write a book about it, and then fucking ends up getting killed himself. So, like, it just kind of goes to show what when people go looking for certain things, there's a certain limit. Like, I feel like, but I don't think there's ever been any. No one's ever actually died from going to the Stanley Hotel.
No.
Because originally, I don't think you did mention this part. It was like you did mention it was built in 1909,
Yeah.
but originally, a lot of the elites during that time from the East Coast would venture towards the West. Hit the central side of the U.S. at the time, and just so that they could have some like leisure time and vacate and just chill at the hotel. But a lot of them were elites coming down. But I think it was not the Breland Oscar himself, but one of them had what's that one lung cancer disease?
Tuberculosis,
yeah, or
bronchitis,
I
tuberculosis.
might be getting it wrong. but there was a very I'll get it in a second, but there was a very bad illness pretty much that affected all these people. And so um the owner, or I'm fucking it up, but I feel like it was him. He had it, and so many people with the same thing had it and would come over and spend their like final days here at the Stanley Hotel, and that's why you would have like a lot of people die at the Stanley Hotel because they were already dying to begin with. Um, and so you get this gruesome, superstitious, spooky feeling whenever you go to these places where a bunch of people have died. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
personally don't feel like any sort of way being in a place where someone has died or been killed. Like, I've my last apartment actually, the previous owner or the previous person living in it, she died of COVID, and they had to legally tell me, and I was just like, nah, I mean, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I expected them to give me a discount, but no, they didn't.
Yeah.
So don't expect a discount if you're trying to get into an apartment. But if you're trying to move into a place, just know that every fucking place like has some sort of bad energy clinging to it, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, and if we're talking about bad energy, now that I'm thinking about it, does it only have to do with just humans? Can it also be the insects? Maybe even the animals? Maybe
Ooh.
even bacteria itself?
Ooh, because that brings up a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was actually a cemetery by the Stanley Hotel that actually had something to do with inspiring Pet Cemetery by Stephen King. Because in said cemetery by the Stanley Hotel, there would be a bunch of like little animals or pets that were buried there.
I know
So
they remade Pet Cemetery. I never saw the
yeah,
remake.
I feel like they did that with like a lot of fucking movies. Like every major movie that had a possibility of like being lit up again was
Yeah.
lit up, and they did it for a good amount of movies, not just like horror movies.
I still haven't seen the remake for it. I've only seen the originals, but I haven't
You've
seen.
only no way.
Yeah, I've only seen the originals. I haven't seen the remake, like
So
with the new
the originals
Pennywise.
with the tape, and so there was two, I think, or like two and a half, I feel like, when they were kids and then when they were adults.
Yeah,
You saw
those are the
those?
originals. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
them.
You haven't seen the actual any of
The
them, the new current ones.
the new
There's only
recently
two.
current ones.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
no.
That's fucking crazy.
Well,
What? You
because
definitely need to.
it's the same thing, but
Yeah,
it's just rehashed with newer people.
yeah, but also okay. But think about when you actually. Okay, so a lot of these movies that are being remade, like a lot of them are being watched by people that don't really necessarily fully remember the first times that they made. Like, okay, you were super young, a super small kid when you saw the first movies, right?
Yeah,
So it was a different experience than it would be watching the new ones now, because now you can, now your frontal lobe is fully developed. Now you're
yeah.
20, now you're 24. Now you can understand.
25.
Oh, sorry, 25, and now you can process the movie. It's but I feel like for anyone watching or listening, really, the two movies I definitely recommend if you haven't seen it. The book itself too, like, or
Yeah, the
just
book is
it
great.
in general. It just whole thing. It like if you haven't, why? Also, if you haven't seen The Shining, why not? Why have you not?
Yeah.
It's also if you haven't seen Sinister, you definitely should. Very much recommend it.
If you haven't seen any of like Stephen King's adaptation movies, they're pretty good. Like they're all fucking bangers after bangers after bangers.
I don't know if you've ever seen them, but did you think they were called favorite horror or something? It was a bunch of like small horror stories, like small snippets, like quick horror stories. Um, they made a show about it, and then
Are you
they made
talking about Goosebumps?
no, no, not Goosebumps. Well, that too. Those were cool, but like
I thought they were good.
They definitely weirded me out. I feel like there was one where they went hiking, and dude, I can't even remember what they were wearing, but they were fucking like these alien, fucking weird monsters, and like this family went out into the woods or something like that, and they pretty much took them, and then they were like eating them, and like they had like these like gummy worms, like big ass fat like gigantic gummy things, and they were like sitting on the couch and like eating them. I don't remember, but like the whole goosebump thing as a kid really creeped me out. Actually,
That's the point. That's the entire point of the.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like it did a good job. I did a fucking good job, you know. I'm saying it did a good job.
Are you talking about scary stories to tell in the dark?
Yeah. It's some fucking literal stupid title, like literally, like scary stories to tell in the dark.
See,
did you see that movie?
I didn't see the movie, but I mean, I read the book when I was younger.
Like
it was
the thin book with I think it was like white, and it had like a picture of like a haunted house in the front, and like
yeah. And I mean, like before the movie, way before there was a book for our younger listeners / viewers. And that shit was scary for me, bro. Like I remember I was like a kid, and our teacher, it was like October, and she was like, I'm gonna go ahead and cut class today, but instead I'm gonna be reading you guys scary stories to tell in the dark. And she had the book.
Is that child abuse?
No, I mean, I thought it was cool, but it was also scary.
No, it's not. It's kind of like traumatizing the children.
Yeah, she brought out the book, and she had do you remember the projectors that teachers used to have, where they would put like they were like sort of like yeah,
that,
and they pointed like at the wall,
and so like a giant L with a lamp on top, and you put paper on top, and then it like it has a thing to magnify onto it.
Yeah,
and
those
it projects
things
it onto the wall, and it was like always like super shitty quality. It was like 180p or something, and like they never knew how to like get to it, and they're like, oh, is this the right spot? And they're like, is this the right spot? And is this the right spot? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so she was able to get the pages like into that like transparent page with the pictures and everything onto it. I thought that was cool when I was a kid, but she showed it to us, and she was reading, like she had her finger on the words, and she was like reading the story, and I was freaked out because they also showed the pictures. I remember this one story where like this little girl or something, she found a toe sticking out.
Wait, what?
From the
story.
The
story.
Yeah.
The girl found the girl in the story found a toe. I'm like, the girl outside in the story. Sorry.
Yeah, they were having like rock stew or something before, and then she found a toe, and she brought it back, and
that just sounds disgusting. They were having rock stew
or some type of stew, and then the dad was like, "Fuck yeah, give me that toe," and he started cutting it. And then they started putting it inside the stew to add more flavor.
She's like, fuck yes. Fuck yeah, daughter. Give me that toe.
But I think the scariest story that stuck to me was, it was such a short but stupid story now that I think about it, but it scared me because it was basically like a creature that was just on your ceiling staring at you. And the only way that it would respond is with just, or like clicks,
like just,
yeah, that was the story. So like it was reading it, and then like I guess the kid was like trying to talk to it to like leave it alone, and it would just say, and then like you keep reading, it's like, what are you doing? And like it was, and it showed like, the picture.
It would just like the daughter or like the thing itself would just click,
yeah, or something. It would make like some noise.
And dude, that reminds me of the chick from Hereditary, the girl that had that.
Yeah, I remember that.
That made the clicks.
Yeah,
and then they like the Like it's creepy. But this imagining a fucking monster in the middle of the night just looking down at you.
Yeah, dude, imagine I was a fucking kid and they told me this story. And what sucked is that, so at the time we were in a small apartment, and we had a 2-bedroom apartment at the time. So my parents would sleep in one room, and then the rest of the kids would sleep in the other room. And they moved me and my little twin size bed to the living room. So I would sleep in the living room at the time. We were broke, dude. But
okay. No, yeah.
And I would go to sleep and I would remember that story, and I would just like stare up into the ceiling, and everything was off, everything was just quiet, and I would just like start thinking to myself, like, what the fuck? Like, what if this
like
thing,
there's gonna be a monster coming out?
Yeah, dude, I was freaked the fuck out.
The thing is gonna have like 6 arms. It's just gonna click at me, and I'm not gonna know how to click at it, how many clicks to click at it, or why to click at it, or just how to be loud with my clicks. Oh man, that's horrible. It kind of reminds me of how my older sister, as like me as a kid, like she would, with the same book actually, around the same time, she would like get us and tell us a bunch of stories.
Wait, is this the older sister that I've met before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jessica. Yeah, you've met her.
Yeah.
And so like she would just tell us a bunch of scary stories, and they would be like my cousins, all in like the same like living room, or like all in huddled up in her room. Yeah. So like if we had like sleepovers, we would all be like in the same like room, right? You know, be like, oh, like you guys are gonna have a sleepover. You guys are gonna be in the same room, type of thing.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fucked up, kind of funny too, because like my brother growing up, he didn't have a room. His room was the living room, and so like whenever we had sleepovers, like we would all be in his area. But anyway, like one night, like we were watching like Final Destination series.
I remember that. I remember that shit.
She was telling us like these stories in this book. And I remember just like I couldn't fucking like look at the ceiling with my I just, because I don't know, I felt like there was fucking, my imagination would go wild, and like the ceiling would start to like change and morph. And I don't know if you've ever like looked at something long enough that it just like becomes like the background, or it becomes like one whole picture.
Yeah.
And like while like she was telling us these stories, like I would just be like, fucking imagining these things, or like also have Final Destination, the memories of that going on, and I would just be kind of tormented. Oh, and what's also fucked up is, have you ever heard? I'm pretty sure you have, and I'm sorry if like you're listening and you haven't heard of this, but this shit happened, and it's kind of fucked up. And I also saw pictures of it, but the picture of the dude with the glass jar that broke in his fucking ass. Like, do you know that?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Like, I think it was like allgore.com, or like some crazy like early 2000s like website that people would go to like look up fucked up shit. And like she showed us this shit, and it was also like we saw fucking people. Like there was another one with a man fucking that was destroyed because of the train tracks.
Do you remember the Pain Olympics?
I actually never watched the Pain Olympics, and I don't think I've never watched the Pain Olympics, and I don't think I want to, because it just sounds so like just imagining the shit that is done. Like you could describe everything that happens in the Pain Olympics. That's fine, but I don't know if I can just watch all that, as much as I can see someone just being killed. Because when someone's killed, like it's usually kind of quick, but these people like are like destroying their bodies for pain, for entertainment, and I don't know, I think it goes insane. It's I don't know, I've never seen it. I mean, I'm fucking open to seeing it, but like I'm gonna be fucking grossed out, and it's just crazy. Like those cartel videos too, have you ever seen those?
I've seen them.
where they're just butchering fucking heads off.
Yeah.
Or they captured a bunch of people. They're like, oh, these fucking people, they look innocent, but they're actually, bad people connected to bad things, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, a lot of those videos, you're, like, conflicted because, like, they're killing supposedly bad people, but they're also still killing people. And you don't actually know if the supposed crimes are real or not. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's all fucked up system. Yeah. But it's crazy because, like, those videos, they look like fucking better than our SWAT team. Like they look super fucking geared up, like crazy.
How did we get from Stanley Hotel to beheading videos with the cartel? I don't even know where the fuck we went off in a tangent. I can't remember.
But it's all fucking scary shit. You
Yeah,
know,
it is scary shit.
What if? Have you ever been to a place where like cartel?
Fucking ghosts. What the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck you doing here? Fucking ghost.
Speaking of fucking ghosts and fucking different accents and fucking doing this shit, we have a new cover art that we're gonna be doing for new episodes.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting near our time, but
hold on.
Like,
I want to talk about because I think it'll make a pretty good title too. Gen Z ghosts.
Gen Z ghosts. Like
really think about it.
Like a person that died while being Gen Z.
Exactly. So really think about it. Like you know how we always hear the stories where like they'll hear a ghost saying things like, oh, they'll say some like old timey shit. But yeah, imagine like in the future, like in the future, someone will say some random stupid shit as a ghost, like beans or some stupid shit,
or let's get it, or it's just like in the background, like it's just some stupid like what's some trending like word that people constantly say,
slay,
or like
slay, period.
Oh yeah,
on God.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, you hear like you're just having a stressful ass day,
dead ass,
and then you fucking, and then you come home, you have a stressful ass day, you fucking throw your keys on the table, and then for some reason you have a fruit bowl on the table, but then all of a sudden like this fruit bowl just one of the oranges goes over the fruit bowl, and like you're like, what the fuck? And you're like, in your left ear, you hear, "Oh God," and like, and then you're like, "What the fuck?" And then all of a sudden, the fruit bowl explodes, and you're like, you hear the ghost saying, "You thought you had a stressful day," and then like it just like, yeah, no,
just hear, "You thought I was feeling you,"
or some shit like that. Yeah, you thought I was a friendly ghost. I'm here to fuck your day up. You think we don't have a choice being a ghost? You think I'm stuck here? No, I want to fuck with you. No, I want to haunt you. You're stuck with me. Now, fuck you. I've heard all the shit that you say about me. I would hate to have
like a Gen Z ghost.
And I don't know why my ghost had that stupid accent, but like, if that was true, like if you could like choose, be like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking choose to venture off and hunt this specific area just because fuck you, just because fuck this area. And like the more you hear people talk shit about ghosts in that area, like the more you fuck with them, and you're gonna hear more people talk shit because you're fucking with them. So I don't know, you just fuck with them, and for no reason, because the main belief is that ghosts are stuck. But what if they know their way out? Like yeah, dog, like yeah, like I see the light, dog, but like I don't want to go there. Like like what if I just want to stay in this house because it's kind of comfy, and I'm like what if they're just dicks and want to fuck with
you? Imagine like your wealth actually carried on into your like death. So like depending on how much wealth you had in life, that's how much wealth you had in death. And like starting house pay is like $900K.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's Cali prices.
So what, you're like so what, are you like a homeless ghost?
I mean, maybe there's like Ghost Zillow, like as you're waiting.
Ghost Zillow. So like so maybe they're not stuck. So maybe they're not stuck. They just can't afford.
They can't afford the fucking.
They're like, yeah, I can't afford to go to heaven. So I'm collecting my money, haunting you guys.
Yeah, what if that's a job, like a haunter? They went on ghostindeed.com. They applied to be a haunter. And that's how they're making their fucking bags to try and get a house in fucking heaven, dude.
That's actually hilarious.
But like, what if their afterlife is like the exact copy of our world, but just Earth 2.0, but in the afterlife, so everything's the same.
That's going into a different theory that I feel like that's going into a whole different theory, where you in your afterlife are just the same in Earth 2.0. I feel like that's crazy talk, but no, I feel like a possibility. I don't know. Go on.
Yeah, and like how we were talking about like Zillow and house prices. What if like it's the same exact thing? So like people in Cali, like they're just stuck. Like they're in debt.
But what if we're Earth 2.0?
So they're going to Earth
3.0? What if we don't know? Like, what if, okay, so if there is an Earth 2.0, how do we know that we're not it? Or how do we know that it stops at Earth 2.0 and there isn't a 3, 4, and 5, 6? And how do we know that we're not in one of those and we wouldn't know because we would forget going into every Earth because we're dead, and now we're kind of like resetting. But you see how I'm getting into like the infinite, like, oh, yeah. And then I tried to explain, or not explain. Sorry, I recently thought about the egg theory, or I don't know if it's called the egg theory, but like when you're.
So it was actually just an egg story. I know which story you're talking about. I had a.
Like everybody is like you are me, I am you.
Yeah.
And like we're all experiencing everything at the same time, and we're all one infinite like being, and we're reset and re-put in time. And so I just want to say, going off of that, I know it's completely off of that, but going off of that, like if you're ever having a shit day and you're being mean to someone, just think about it. Like they're possibly you, and you're possibly them.
Have you seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No.
No, it's a good movie. It won awards and stuff. I'm not trying to downplay it. I just don't know which awards it won. But it's a really good movie. And it kind of goes off of like if we're just experiencing everything, but it's not like the egg story or the egg theory, where like we're every single person. It's something where you have multiple infinite timelines. And you're something different in each one, and it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty good movie. You should definitely watch it.
What's it called again?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. You're gonna have to send me that because I'm gonna like get that mixed up somehow. I don't have dyslexia, but sometimes like I do be thinking that, and just like I don't have ADHD, but sometimes I just do be thinking that, you know. But I think that's about our time for tonight. This has been the second episode of, not, you know, we're excluding the mini-sode. Those are excluded from our official episodes. This has been the second official episode of season 6 on Dudes versus Everything. What it's called, you'll probably see when it's actually published. You know, I don't know if we're gonna. You want to go with Gen Z ghosts?
I mean, Gen Z ghosts is a pretty good thing to add in the title.
If there was a Gen Z person that died in the Stanley Hotel and was just like ooga booga, like, you know, no, not like ooga booga. I don't know why I said ooga booga. But, anyways, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. If you stayed this long, we hope you come again and are coming harder every time.
Yeah.
And come. Yeah, just come like hard all the time. Keep coming. Stay hard, stay wet. If you enjoyed our Wet Wednesday minisodes, hopefully you continue watching those. I know our Wet Wednesday minisode last week was short and felt like abrupt, I may feel like, or
yeah,
you know,
it felt a little abrupt.
You know, you stick with us, you know, if you come along, we'll come with you, and we'll all come hard. so it gets better as we progress. Thank you guys for listening. We want to say thank you. As always, good morning, good afternoon,
Good evening and good night.
Yes. Then Jesus Perez and
Rudy Robles.
we'll see you next week on a new episode. So yeah, stay tuned. Bye.
See you.